Emily has done these mashups, and I think, in fact, you have two, Paulo, of Matterport plus AR plus a smartphone as an example. I'm just wondering, is there something different and unique about the Apple Vision Pro mashed up with Matterport that is a better, and I don't want to say viewing experience, because maybe that's not the right thing. It's some interactive experience.
I have an
Emily?
idea. So, I mean, when you look at the current generation of how Matterport has gone from, for example, originally we had to have VR, sort of on for the Gear VR, we had to have those spaces basically handcrafted
You're
for
going back in time a little bit. So I
go
think this
back
is
in
about
time.
2015,
15. Let's go back to
2016,
2015, 2016.
2015, and Matterport offered VR in Gear VR and Google
And
Cardboard.
yeah,
And it was I want to say a stereoscopic virtual reality experience, but it could only be done by hand. It's somebody, and you paid a lot of money to Matterport to
you
go.
paid about $500 a space and you had the VR showcase, so you still had an app, right? So you had an app and that was how you accessed it, and then you would put it in your Gear VR, or you put it in, yeah, your Gear VR, and then later we moved from that into, like, let's just jump a little bit further forward. We had the VR Core where they got rid of the really nice transitions, and then we were going from pano to pano, which is really,
Just to clarify for our audience, and may not have,
oh,
so the original experience, I would say it literally felt like you were walking through the space,
yeah,
and the next generation was
a
really
step
felt like
back.
you were moving from bubble to bubble,
Yes,
and it didn't cost you $500, and it was available, I want to say, immediately,
yes,
but it wasn't the same experience. I
right.
know my wife on that first generation, she put the Gear VR on for the first time, got nausea, and said, nope, not going to use this again. And then maybe that second generation was designed to reduce that, but it never went. I don't think of VR going anywhere with Matterport at that time. I
It
mean,
was definitely not a priority to them because they were trying to scale other things, and it was one of the VR winters, if you will. But what they did instead of really supporting that is that they did make a change a couple years ago where they introduced a different code in their and in their links. So if you go on now to copy a link in the Matterport system, you'll see that there is a bit of code that says spatial XR tracking. And when you have spatial XR tracking on your links, then if you have your model on your website right now, today, any browser, and you use the current link and you put the model on there, if I go in and I navigate to your website, you can go to hopscotchinteractive.com now if you want, in a Quest, right? In a Quest 2 or any of these. And today you can view any Matterport space. It will say in your VR headset, in this Quest 2, it will say, do you want to enter in VR? Enter in VR right from the browser. So we already have this. So your question a few minutes ago saying, are people going to be like, this is the thing that's going to put me into, Apple Vision Pro? Probably not, because we already have it and it's not like a big game changer. The difference is that this is a more or less gaming system. This is really about like gaming. It's not about enterprise use as much.
you're talking about the device in your hand rather than the
Device in
Apple
my
Vision
hand.
Pro.
This
Yeah.
exactly, the Meta Quest and the
So,